thinking for a while about doing a video of how I grow out my short hair. I was gonna take some snippets from each little haircut I do along the way and then put it all in one video. But then I realized if I did that, that video would be like
maybe 3 hours long.
I don't know, there's too much to put in there. So I decided I would make a video each time I trimmed up my hair, just put it all into one playlist of how to grow out your short hair. This will be video number 1 in that playlist. So hopefully this is helpful to you if you are trying to grow out your hair. This is how I do it.
This is what works for me.
And I have done this many, many times.
First thing
I do is I pick out my inspiration picture, and that's the haircut that I want to have by the end of all this. And it's very important that if your hair is like mine and you're growing it out, that you don't pick like Joanna Gaines as your inspo picture, okay? Because
that is way too long.
you need something to get you there just a little quicker so you have some gratification and feel like, oh, look what I did, I accomplished it. So I picked this picture. I love it. And it's perfect for what I want because I'm wanting to grow my hair out just so I can do some color on it. I can't really do much color on this short hair. I want to grow it out a little bit so I can play with some color, and this will really get me there. Also, it's short enough, similar enough to what I have, it won't take forever.
and I'll be there, like that.
Hair grows on average about 1/2 inch a month, which is about that much. Not a whole lot, but it just keeps going. It doesn't stop. It's tortoise in the hair.
Oh my gosh.
The tortoise in the hair. There's something there, I don't know. All right, the next thing I wanna do is look at my inspo picture and my hair and find out what part needs to grow the most. And then the other parts I can cut on during that time. I find out what part needs to grow the most, and in my case, it's this right here, this front part, and this right here, this top part. Now I'm gonna reshave all this under part because I like the undercut. It just makes it so easy to deal with for me. Shave that on the side, underneath on the sides, and then back there, blend that all back up. And then one other thing I'm going to do is when I pull my hair up, see how short this part is compared to this middle part? I'm gonna straighten all that out and make it not cut anything off the front there, but take off some in that middle. And what that'll do will give me a little more longevity and being able to style this kind of crazy like as it grows. And then this front part will get long enough to where I can start doing something with it in the front that's not just. So that's my plan. So let's get started. Trim it up.
All right, you guys remember the superhero cape, right? I mean, if you're gonna do some good in the world, you might as well wear a cape.
I'm gonna start with my 2-guard around the sides and the back.
I'm gonna start with my clip and clipping all that top hair out of the way. It can be hard to tell which part was shaved before and which part hasn't because it's gotten so long. But I'm trying to rectify that right now. So I'm gonna go through after I clipped up that part and just run my 2-guard all over this and start behind my ear there because it is getting really long back there. So, yep, gonna try to blend all that back in without going too high into my crown, and really don't want to go past the occipital bone on the back of my head. So, trying to blend the bottom part out so that it stays nice and short. I feel like these videos should be like, you know what, that's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. That's kind of how I feel about my hair most of the time, because a lot of it's like, not quite perfect, but still pretty good. Seriously though, I'm not gonna lie, because I had to do this back part like 15 times, I think. I don't know. I was just not in the zone today. Was not my best day. But I think I ended up with something I'm pretty happy with. Now I gotta comb over the other side and clip it up.
Oh my gosh. Look at all those. Look at those. Oh, that's crazy. Just cut them off, huh? Okay.
And when I say cut them off, I mean shave them off. That's right, peace, gray hair. See you later. In probably about 3 to 5 weeks when you're like way too long again. Once again, going around the front, and then I go around the back and blend that all up as best I can. This feels so much better though. Getting all that undercut part off just feels better.
All right, now I'm going to use my foreguard and kind of knock that line in the back out a little.
It's funny to hear me say these things with such authority because, I mean, I am a professional stylist. I have been for 20 years. I'm pretty good at what I do. But when I watch myself cutting my own hair, it makes me cringe. It's mediocre work, I think, but but I realize that I'm doing this on myself, and so I give myself all these breaks. But it's just funny to hear myself saying, okay, and now I'm going to knock out this line with this guard. And I barely do it. But this is how I cut my own hair. And I think it's kind of interesting, so there you go. So once again, the main thing here is to blend it up in the bottom and not go too high. Don't cut past the occipital bone.
I just realized I didn't get a very good before shot of this hair, but
I'm new here.
I'm gonna use my trimmers now. Just clean up the edges. You guys know this is my favorite part.
This is the absolute hardest part for me, but I feel like I totally nailed it this time. I mean, not completely nailed it, but for me, doing this on myself, this is probably the best time I've ever done on edging myself out. I think it came out way better than normal. I also really want to make sure I get all the hair from around my ear, because when the hair starts sticking out over my ear, it bothers me. I'm not really sure why. I just like it real clean around my ear. And then I also want to make sure I look at that chunk of hair hiding behind my ear. Oh, it always does that. I tell you, you guys know. So I always want to make sure I get all that stuff off and out and cleaned up.
Took a bit of hair off. Just that.
All done with the clippers, so yep, gotta wet it down. Getting ready to do the top.
Now I'm just going to do that, what I was talking about earlier, where I'm taking the shorter front and having the back and the middle kind of meet up the same length on the top.
Just taking out some of that weight and some of that length in the top. Actually, I don't even use the texturizing shears on the top this time. Don't really need to just yet. Probably in the next haircut I will do a little bit. But since I'm growing it out, I also want to make sure that I don't over texturize it. Normally that's not a big deal for me because I have such short hair. If I accidentally take off a little too much, it's not a big deal because it grows so fast. And it just gets real thick and long again so fast. So what's going through my mind when I'm doing this is I'm giving myself a flat top, but not like a short commando type flat top. No, not like that. This is more of the long, tall Dolph Lundgren and Rocky IV flat top, I mean, if he dies, he dies, one of those kind of flat tops. I'm going to call it the if he dies flat top from now on. And everybody will know what I'm talking about. Fun fact about me, Rocky is my favorite movie of all time. Such a classic movie. Not so much of man versus man, but of man versus self.
I'm almost going cross-eyed trying to look up on this. I don't know why. All right, now that's all I'm doing up there. It doesn't seem like much, but it's gonna make a big difference as it grows. All right, now I'm just gonna go through the back and hit it with my texturizing shears. Any areas that look a little too liney. My hair, being super straight, shows every little line. And so if your hair has any texture in it at all, it will be easier than mine to do. So if I can do this to mine, you can do this to yours. That's what I'm saying.
Theoretically.
All right, I think that's as good as that's gonna get. Let me dry it real quick and show you what we got. Hey guys, it's me.
In the future.
I've already styled and everything, but a couple of those lines that I got in there with thinning shears, it's gonna drive me crazy. So I'm gonna go through real quick and take it down another notch with a 2 and probably a 1.5. So let's do that.
Sometimes when I'm cutting hair, lines show up very predominantly when it's wet, but then as I dry it, they kind of fade away. And so I have to dry my hair first and then look and see, okay, yeah, I can still see that line. And then I'll have to go back through and blend it in a little more. So that's what I'm doing here. That's what happened. Oh yeah, blend that in, Stacy.
1.5, 1, opened up.
It is hilarious that when I think about it, that these are the videos that I make, because this is probably my weakest area of hair styling. As a hairdresser, the hardest thing for me to do is to do a low fade, like a 0 or a 1 fade. And yet these are the videos that I just love to make for some reason. I'm like, oh yes, enjoy my iffy tactics and my mediocre success. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Iffy tactics and mediocre success. I gotta laugh to keep from crying, you know? But hey man, success is success, alright? And when my hair gets long, it gets on my nerves real bad, you know what I mean? So, it's gotta go. Oh, look at that. I think that's looking better, right? Pretty good. Maybe it's not so mediocre. Maybe I feel like for giving yourself a haircut, I feel like that's pretty good.
One more time.
Will I never learn? No, I will not, because even when I mess up using these bad boys, it still looks better than if I hadn't used them at all. At least that's what I think. At least I'm my own personal cutting of my own hair. Behind my back with a mirror. Backwards. I feel like I'm making excuses.
Seriously now, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. So let's style it and see what happens.
I am just blow drying it in every direction as much as I can, just trying to get some volume at the roots so that I can really move it around and get some height, and having a great time doing it too, it looks like. Get some height and stuff in it so when I spray it, it won't be all flat to my head.
This is it, guys.
This is the look.
No, I do like this. I do like all the volume and shape. Don't know if you remember last time, but you know how I roll. Keeping it classy.
I'm trying to evenly distribute all that hairspray and that way I can separate it, gives it a little bit of texture. And the nice thing about using this kind of cheap hairspray is that it doesn't end up looking wet all day long. It doesn't flake off where you can see it, but it doesn't have the best hold for like longevity of hold.
Alright guys, and that's it. Let me show you finished product. Yay! Now the best part of the whole thing, I can live happily with this haircut for another month. And it's not going to be driving me crazy. So that's it guys, that's how I do my first trim up, growing my hair out. So I hope this was helpful, if not, at least entertaining. Thank you so much for joining us. Love you so much, and see you next time. Bye!